Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're doing well and that you're all having a great day. To start things off, Dogecoin is actually in the news. On Monday, the California-based fintech firm Robinhood announced that it will be listing Dogecoin on its rapidly expanding Fearless crypto mobile app. This announcement comes only a few days after Robinhood revealed support for Litecoin and Bitcoin Cash. With this most recent addition, Robinhood Crypto now supports 5 cryptocurrencies and has recently confirmed that it is continuing to work on offering more crypto assets. In the same announcement, the fintech startup, which focuses on offering accessible and low-cost financial services, noted that its crypto app is now available in 17 states, namely California, Florida, New Jersey, and Texas. Too many. Dogecoin is nothing but a joke cryptocurrency created in the jest of an internet meme, fitly named Doge or Doggy, depending on how you want to say it, leading some to ask if the cryptocurrency was made in jest. Why did Robinhood just announce support for it? Firstly, Dogecoin seems to be technically similar to a majority of the mature cryptocurrency projects, but most likely requiring a minimal transition between something like Bitcoin and Dogecoin. For some clarity, Dogecoin is a payment-centric cryptocurrency that focuses on low fees for micropayments, mainly used as an e-commerce tool and an exchange of value by its community. So a little bit of a back history about Dogecoin. Dogecoin was actually created completely as a joke, but this came around the time where we had no more than 10, 15, maybe 20 cryptocurrencies. This was eons ago, it feels like, and the entire purpose of it was to literally send micropayments back and forth. There were a lot of people on Twitter and Reddit who were sending, with the tip bots, they were sending, 15 cents back and forth. If someone had made a funny joke on Reddit or Twitter or somewhere else, they would tip you in about, 2 cents worth of Doge. And this is how the coin kind of got going. After about a couple of months of this going on, the creator of Dogecoin actually got really upset because people were starting to take it seriously. The market cap, I think, entered into the millions at this point. And he said that he didn't think that the coin should be worth anything because it was made as a joke. This is when people started to try and, They were trying to actually get Dogecoin integrated into YouTube. There was a major push for this. I can't remember exactly what year it was, but I remember there was like a huge backing behind it. There was huge, how when any type of news about possible integration or someone adding a certain coin, the value of that coin would then start to spike up. There was a huge spike in price for Dogecoin out of nowhere. I think at one point it almost hit 1 cent. If you look at the price right now, I'll tell you about that in a second. So the idea is that because it's able to perform, or everyone is using it mainly for micropayments because there are so many Dogecoin, that this would eventually be the coin that was integrated into browsers and stuff like that. Literally, Dogecoin is more or less exactly what BAT, Basic Attention Token, is right now. They were trying to do that, but at some point, the creator of Doge decided to leave the entire crypto community for a while, and he said he was leaving the project. He didn't believe in it anymore. He made it as a joke. The fact that people were taking it seriously made him very upset, and he completely left. The price of Doge fell back down, and no one really spoke about it for quite some time. So I think Robinhood is just trying to add more coins in general. Dogecoin still has a gigantic community behind it. That's not me telling you to invest in it. It still is more or less a joke coin, but there are still people who actually use this. So I wouldn't be surprised if at some point in the future, 5 years down the line, if this is still going strong, that someone may actually integrate it into some type of, tipping thing. But this is kind of how I feel about why they added. A lot of people seem very confused, but very good news for people who are actually holding on to Doge. The price of it is actually up by 18%. I guess because of where the market is going up right now, and also because of its listing on Robinhood, this will, in essence, give it more exposure. So thumbs up to anyone out there who is holding on to Dogecoin or who actually believes in the project. I mean, it's not like a bad project. It's just more of a joke and a gag, and the inside of the cryptocurrency community. So Plasma, or Ethereum, however you want to bundle it up, is in the news today. Vitalik Buterin believes Ethereum's upcoming Plasma implementation could make ERC20 central bank digital currencies viable. We'll discuss which governments have considered these sovereign tokens and whether Plasma could, in fact, make Ethereum a good fit. In a recent Twitter poll by Bitcoin investor Oliver Janssens, Vitalik Buterin voiced his support for an ERC20 central bank issued digital currency. When questioned about scalability, Buterin responded that the impending Plasma implementation will address this concern and the Ethereum network will be sufficiently scaled for use by national banks. I don't know how many of you remember this, how many of you care to even listen to the video that I made about this. There were rumors for quite some time when Russia came forward and said that they thought about banning cryptocurrencies, didn't want it in the country, so blah, 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 whatever. There actually, I think, photos, I want to say there are photos of Vitalik Buterin and the president of Russia in the exact same room. I think they also have one where they had a handshake or something like that, maybe a cup of tea. I don't know exactly what they were doing. But there were a lot of rumors for a long time that because Vitalik, I believe his parents are Russian and he also speaks Russian, that he was actually in Russia to talk to Putin about the future of cryptocurrencies and more so the future of Ethereum, as this was in essence a Russian-made cryptocurrency, if you kind of want to call it that. So the fact that they may potentially be using ERC20 tokens to issue central bank digital currencies is not even a surprise to me. But it is something very important in that you may have noticed the value of Ethereum, even though it has fallen from where it was around 1200, continues to go up relatively by even like a small amount every couple of months, simply because what am I trying to say? Everything that gets built on top of Ethereum increases its value. The more things you have built on top of a certain amount of land, the value of the land then increases. This is why Ethereum value keeps going up, because it has a lot of things on top of it. If you start building digital bank or central bank issued digital currencies on top of it, the value of Ethereum and the ERC20 token space will also increase in value. And on the entire discussion of Plasma, so we have news that Casper and Sharding should or could possibly, we might not get them until around 2020. However, when it comes to Plasma, the people behind Ethereum and the people behind Omise Go are working heavily on implementing Plasma, and it's still believed, or on Omise Go's roadmap, it says that Q3, where we are right now, until around October 1st, this is Q3, this is when we will see Plasma active. This is on Omise Go's, not white paper, on their roadmap. So it is believed that relatively soon we will see, or could possibly see, Plasma coming out onto Ethereum and also onto Omise Go. And if this does happen, this will completely, I think this is what I've been saying before. I said this months ago, even as the market was going down. The moment Plasma, we get confirmation that Plasma has been activated or is being used or is coming out within a week and a half or 10 days, Ethereum is probably going to pass by Bitcoin. But that is a completely different topic for another video. So Plasma is one of Ethereum's upcoming potential solutions to its scalability problem. However, the version of Plasma Buterin is referring to Plasma MVP is one specific iteration of the concept, not the end all be all of Plasma solutions. At the Ethereum Community Conference in March, developer at the Ethereum Foundation, Carl Flourish, explained Plasma is not a protocol, it is a design pattern, a technique. Announced in January, Plasma MVP, or Minimum Viable Plasma, is an open source contract that is essentially Plasma's rough draft. However, because Ethereum's contracts are incredibly complex, developers seem to be exercising some caution, examining the code for bugs before rolling it out on the mainnet. Meanwhile, the developers are improving the existing code and testing their own Plasma implementations. I think Plasma is very, very close to happening. Flourish, who also worked as a blockchain engineer at Consensus, gave a great explanation of MVP on YouTube back in March. In it, he explained how the contract will create a child chain that enables incredibly fast transaction times, 1,000 transactions per second for every child chain. Current transaction speed is around 13 to 20 per second on the Ethereum blockchain. The tokens available on the child chain are ERC20 tokens called PETH, which are always exchangeable for Ethereum. To enter a child chain and make transactions there, a Plasma contract is used to exchange ETH for PETH. This original transaction is completed by the contract on the main chain, and it is immediately recorded both on the main and on the child chain. So this is another iteration of Plasma. It's heavily believed that we're going to get Plasma relatively soon. I think there was a conference or something like about a month ago. He said, I think we're incredibly close to it. He gave some type of hint about it. I assume they're just checking it out for bugs. If Ethereum gets plasma, it is going to become the leader of the cryptocurrency market. I'm sure a lot of people will be happy about that. People who love Bitcoin will probably not be. But this has been a long time coming. And even without sharding and without Casper, once we have plasma and then we can implement sharding as well, and we have proof of stake on it, you need an army in order to bring down Ethereum. But this is kind of the Ethereum news for today, that they could potentially be the place where central banks will put their coins on top of, which could be absolutely insane. So this is going to be a very interesting week for cryptocurrency. As I'm sure you may have noticed, the prices are slowly edging up. This is one of the main things that's been happening is that something happened with an ETF. I'll try and say it in another video. I didn't want to bog this one down too much. I don't want to have too many things in this video. But there's a lot of stuff happening this week, and I'm going to read through the next couple of things because I think this week could possibly be not confirmed, like the beginning of the bull market, because this is what we've been hearing for so long, and this is exactly what the market has been waiting for. The Financial Stability Board, or the FSB, an international body tasked to monitor the global financial system while coordinating regulation for G20 nations, has published a new framework for monitoring crypto assets. With an announcement made on Monday, the FSB published its report and revealed its standardized framework delivered to G20 finance ministers and central bank governors ahead of their meeting in Buenos Aires on July 21st and 22nd. Remember, I told you guys about 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days ago that we had news from South Korea that they were trying to get their rulings and regulations all in a row, because all the G20 countries are trying to release not the exact same framework, but kind of something to let the public know exactly what these things are. All the G20 countries have said at the exact same time that they're trying to have like a basis. They want to the same exact way that the security laws are basically the same in every country, give or take a few little twinges. They're trying to also release some basic, at the very beginning, guidelines of what cryptocurrencies are, how they're going to be handled, what they are, where they fall, blah, 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 so and so and so. So this is literally the first step. The fact that this was created and that this is going to be given to the G20 countries who are going to be having a meeting in Buenos Aires on the 21st and 22nd. And that's also something else that's also happening this week. I'll get to that in a second. This is all very, very, very insane. The framework, developed in coordination with the Committee on Payments and Market Infrastructure, or the CPMI, a committee comprising of the governors of the central banks of G10 nations, presents a number of metrics that the FSB will use to monitor crypto asset markets, the report said. This is an excerpt from the framework, and it says, and I do quote, "The objective of the framework is to identify any emerging financial stability concerns in a timely manner. To this end, it includes risk metrics that are most likely to highlight suck risks." I feel like that's incorrect. "Using data from public sources where available," end quote. Primary risk metrics include the market cap, both size and rate of growth, price levels and volatility of major cryptocurrencies. ICO issuance and capital inflows and outflows from fiat currencies will be considered as wealth effect metrics, while institutional metrics will also be analyzed to keep an eye on trading volumes, margining, and interest among traditional financial markets. The framework, the FSB adds, should help to identify and mitigate risks to consumer and investor protection, market integrity, and potentially to financial stability. I'm sure you understand what all of this means. This is the fact that this is happening, the fact that he released this, or that this was released, that there is something else that I'm going to talk about in a couple of seconds, and that we also have this happening on the 21st and 22nd. This is all happening very, very close, because we had news from the G20 countries that they would release some type of framework in July, and this would or could potentially be the thing, not even to move the market. Like, we've heard countless times from all these billionaires and stuff like that, that the market needs regulatory clarity. And it seems to all be happening this week. This is why I also believe that part of the market is actually going up right now. It feels like it's almost like bubbling. Like when you're boiling water, it feels like we're at that point where it could kind of overflow, simply because we've been waiting for so long for this, and now it's finally starting to happen. So on that same exact note, this is another thing that's also happening this week. Congress is set to hold not one, but two separate hearings related to cryptocurrencies on Wednesday. Last week, CoinDesk reported that the House Committee of Financial Services will gather this week to discuss the subject, with particular hearing honing in on the question of crypto as a new form of money. A memo published since the news first broke notably states that members will examine the extent to which the U.S. government should consider cryptocurrencies as money and the potential domestic and global uses for cryptocurrencies. I'm sure you understand how significant a meeting like this is. I told you guys before, if it doesn't matter, the US and any other country doesn't really care about it, the fact that they're going to be having a major discussion in Congress that's going to be live for everyone to see, where they talk about the future of money and should cryptocurrencies be considered as money, this is going to be completely major. And this is why I said, I think why the markets are kind of bubbling at this moment right now, because this is literally what we've been waiting for. The last time people probably weren't in the cryptocurrency market back then. Once upon a time, when Bitcoin was around $100, and there was actually a meeting, I don't know if it was in the Congress or I don't remember exactly where it was in the US, but there was something where the US government deemed Bitcoin legal tender. This was around 2012 or something like that. And this was the first time where Bitcoin actually hit $1,200. That first immediate spike up is because there was a meeting just like this, where it went from 100 to around 1,200 within a couple of hours, because it had been, the US government had given crypto, not even crypto, just Bitcoin legitimacy in this way. So this kind of has the same amount of power behind it. The fact that they're going to be talking if crypto should be considered as money is going to be incredibly significant. That same day, Wednesday, the House Agriculture Committee will hold a hearing entitled Cryptocurrencies Oversight of New Assets in the Digital Age. Listen to like how they're even titling these things. In a statement, Chairman Michael Conaway explained that the hearing seeks to shed light on the promise of digital assets and the regulatory challenges facing this new asset class. In a noteworthy statement, declaring that at least some in the U.S. national legislature hold the view that cryptocurrencies constitute a new kind of asset. Said, and I do quote, "Our committee has a deep interest in promoting strong markets for all commodities of all types, including those emerging through new technology," Conway said. Together, the hearing represents a double header of sorts, and CoinDesk has confirmed both hearings will be live streamed from Capitol Hill, Washington, D.C. The Agriculture Committee hearing will take place at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is the same time as New York and Florida. While the Financial Services Committee hearing will occur at 2 p.m. That is the same time slot. So I'm sure you kind of get and see where this is going. Tomorrow, we're going to have two meetings about the future of cryptocurrencies as money within the United States, cryptocurrencies oversight of new assets in the digital age. And then 2 days after that, there's going to be a meeting amongst all the G20 and G10 finance ministers and central bank governors on the 21st and 22nd of July in Buenos Aires, also on the future of cryptocurrencies and regulatory framework. I'm sure you understand how heavy all of this is. I don't have to really keep beating the horse with this. But I believe if we get proper or any type of thumbs up from this, I don't want to say it's going to set off the market. I've pushed down my hopes and dreams of the market going back up for quite some time now. Like I told you guys, I try not to care when it comes to the price and stuff like that, but I'm sure you understand how huge this could potentially be. The fact that there are going to be multiple meetings, and there's also something else happening this week. I can't remember exactly what it is. Something else is happening, I want to say on the 19th or maybe the 20th as well. That all of this is happening so close, and that even during one of these meetings, we could get final clarification from all the G20 companies. I keep saying companies. Well, they kind of are companies. Countries are companies. As to what cryptocurrencies are and how they're going to be treated. This could be absolutely major. So the last thing I'm going to focus on today is that EOS has some new heavyweight investors in its pocket. EOS protocol maker Block One has received new backing from a number of big investors, including PayPal co-founder Peter Thiel, who is also a major co-founder in Bitmain. In a fresh round of funding, the amount of which was not disclosed. I wonder why. Block One, the company behind which has now become the fifth most valuable cryptocurrency by market cap, has added Thiel, Bitmain and hedge fund billionaires Louis Bacon, Alan Howard to its list of investors. CEO Brendan Bloomer said the firm is excited to welcome key strategic investors aligned with our values of creating a more secure and connected world. Someone was quoted as saying, the EOSIO protocol is a great example of blockchain innovation. Its performance and scalability can meet the needs of demanding consumer applications and will pave the way for mainstream blockchain adoption, Wu said in the statement. While it's not clear how the funds will enhance the roughly $4 billion raised over the course of a year-long token sale, $4 billion, my gosh. EOS formally launched in June. It undoubtedly adds some institutional heft to Block One's ranks. Some of the other investors in the company include Galaxy Digital's Mike Novogratz and founder of Aperion Investment Group, Christian Angamaya. Interesting name. So, I'm going to put it to you guys as simply as possible. I'm into cryptocurrencies for the money. I like the idea of a world where we are simply using cryptocurrencies to completely transact. I think we're about 10 years away from that, maybe 10, 15 years. I can definitely see it happening. I've noted a lot of people are very much into, I'm trying to say this as nice as possible. Long story short, I look at where the money goes and I follow it. I am not saying you are wrong if you believe or do not believe in certain cryptocurrency projects because of how you think that company works. Bitmain is a major company, as is PayPal. The people who are now backing EOS were the same exact people who backed Ethereum when it was around $2 or $3 and people weren't paying attention to it, especially Mike Novogratz. I'm pretty sure I've said that before. The fact that I was listening to a podcast yesterday, I've said that phrase. Someone should make a video of how many times I've said that exact phrase. Don't make a video on me. Pretty much, the fact that they've raised $4 billion and all of they're still receiving funding for this project is very significant because like I always said, you have to follow exactly where the money goes. Ethereum didn't receive this much funding, especially when it was first starting out. They are following the money as I am doing with them. And it is not even believed. We know that a large portion of that $4 billion is actually going to make new companies, new entities, new websites that will exclusively be using EOS, or new apps that will be built on top of EOS that will be using EOS as a payment method, or building other apps that are going to be airdropped to the EOS community. So like I said, I know a lot of people don't care for EOS. I love the cryptocurrency space. I do, without a doubt, but I also love that it makes me money. I don't know how that makes me sound in your eyes, but the point of this channel is to make money. I believe that EOS has an incredibly bright future ahead of it. If you look at the people who are actually investing in it, that is not me telling you to put your money into EOS. As always, do your own research, really do your own research. Don't change your ethics for anyone, no matter what anybody tells you. But I am not heavily, my gosh. I am strongly invested in EOS because I believe in their future. And it literally comes down to the people who are backing it. I mean, the numbers kind of talk for themselves. And when I saw that the co-founder of PayPal and also the investor in Bitmain, the people who literally control Bitcoin, it is kind of cut and dry for me exactly where the price of EOS will be going in the future. Alrighty, everyone, that is definitely going to do it for this video. I think you may have noticed I was a bit more hyped in this video because I've been waiting for these two stories for quite some time, literally just waiting. We've been told for so long that we were going to get clarity. We're going to get clarity. And the fact that there's multiple events happening just this week alone and the price has already been going up, it is a very, very exciting time. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys are having a great day, morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. Thank you once again for listening and or watching, depending on how you gather your information from this video. I'm always crap at ending these. Pretty much, I will talk to you all soon. See you.